Hello everyone, welcome to this video about a topic I rarely talk about, namely scales and how you might use them in jazz improvisation. But today I'm going to make an exception and I'm going to talk about the major scale. I got the idea for this video while I was streaming on Twitch. That's a new thing. Every day I'm just practicing jazz guitar and I'm turning the camera on and stream that practice session on Twitch. If you want to see that, follow me on Twitch. There's a link in the description. And one of the questions I got asked during the live stream, because that's a nice thing, I can interact with people that are watching it, was if I was using scales during improv and which scales and how was I playing them. And then I replied, no, I never think about scales, and that's the complete truth. I never think about scales. If you have seen any other video of mine, I always like to think about particular phrases or licks that I transcribed. But I remember that I did make a video about the major scale, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, and I showed you an easy way to play the major scale on the neck. Now that video is nice. It's still, I think, very relevant if you want to learn to play the major scale. But when I was thinking about my own playing at the moment, I came to the conclusion that I'm only using a small part of what I'm showing in that video, and I'm using some other stuff. And I thought it would be nice to make a video about the major scale, how I use it, and why it's not necessarily the best idea for you to learn the major scales in 5 positions or in 7 positions. Instead, I'm going to show you what I use from the major scale, and I think it's a very effective way and it sounds good immediately, and it takes a lot less time to master this. So let's get started with some tap. So, as usual, I divide the guitar up in 3 positions per chord. That is called the Van Hemert system. I will link a video about that in the description. I think about phrases starting with my first finger around the root of a chord. So let's say it's C. For this video it's C. Then I would have my first finger here, right? Or the third, which is an E, which is there. Or the fifth, which is there, right? Or here. C, E, G. Now every phrase I play will be linked to one of those positions and could be very precise, or it could be 1 fret higher, 1 fret lower. That's not really important. But I do the same thing with major scales. So let's start from the root. This is a scale pattern for the major scale that I play a lot in actual improvisation. It's not just a scale. I play it like this. So I don't start on the root. As you can see, I start on the 7th note, the major 7, and then I play this fingering. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it starts on the root, ends on the 9. Now why do I use this? Because the fingering is so easy. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. And then 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Try it out, it's very easy, and it's also 3 notes per string, except for the B string, that's 2 notes, but the rest 3 notes, so the picking is very consistent. Now, where would I use this? I would use this on a major chord. Let's say the song is in C. Or I would repeat patterns by going back a few notes and going up. And it's 3 notes per string, so you could easily make patterns of 3 notes like this. Let's do it every time. Or just maybe once. Something like that, right? Now I would never play this scale pattern down. For down I have different stuff. So what I did is I have this pattern going up, and then I have a couple of phrases that go down that are in the same position, the same area of the fretboard, but they are not scales. They are maybe licks or phrases, but they fit really nicely with this ascending scale. So let's look at all of those phrases, and then I'm gonna play a solo on a song so you can hear what they sound like. So this is the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. So you might think, oh, that is a scale, right? But it is not a scale because I'm skipping some notes. Right, I'm not playing the F now, I'm going straight to an E. And again, I skip the F. So it's kind of a scale pattern. But together with the scale going up and then this phrase going down, it sounds really nice. Because if I would be playing a scale up and down, it would just sound like a scale, and now it sounds like a more musical phrase. So that's the first one. Let's go to the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. Right, so together with the scale, it would sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm connecting that scale pattern up with some chromatics. But you can do whatever you want. Just use your ears, just find some nice stuff, and there's many possibilities. You could just do right, or it's a kind of a bebop-y phrase, really nice, and it fits well with this major scale going up. And again, I'm not playing a major scale down, I have another musical phrase. So let's go to number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could connect it to the scale, maybe something like this. So now I have a scale going up and 3 things going down. Now I can improvise with those elements, stay in one position and be very creative, because of course I don't have to play exactly all those phrases like they're written. I could repeat some notes, leave some notes out, change the rhythms, right? I don't have to play, I could do, or maybe the previous one I could change the rhythms. Just experiment with the phrases, use your ears to find stuff that you like, and take the phrases as a basis for improvisation. But then upwards, play that scale. So I'm gonna demonstrate this on a backing track that's on my channel on a song called Dinah, because Dinah is mostly G in the A part. So even though there's other chords, you can mostly play the major scales. So I have to play everything in the key of G, right? So I would move my hand to the first position of G, which is here, and I would play the same pattern. So let's improvise a little bit with these phrases, and then the bridge goes to E minor and I will just improvise something else, but it's mainly about the A parts. Just like that, and you can be even more creative, of course, because I was now mainly playing the phrases to demonstrate them. But go ahead, change the rhythms, maybe add some chromatic notes, stuff like that. Let's go to the next position, which will be from the 3rd of C. We're going back to the key of C, so with my first finger on the high E. In this position, I always play the scale down, never up. So this is how it sounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have to try it out to feel how easy this is. There's something to this fingering movements which makes it super comfortable. Strangely enough, going upwards is less comfortable. That's probably why I never do it. I mean, I could practice that, but in practice, in real life, I usually play the scale down from here. And again, of course, you could vary the phrase by repeating some notes, or by changing the rhythms. Let's look at some of the phrases that are also in this position that go up and that I combine with this scale shape. The first thing I often do with this shape is play a 3rd scale, which means that you go up one note and then down a 3rd. It sounds complicated, but it sounds like this. Again, it's very easy to do. There's something about using the third finger as much as you have to do in this scale shape when you play the third scale that makes it just very easy to play, easy to remember. Probably you will have this after, I don't know, 15 minutes of practice. There is no other position on the guitar where it's that easy to play a third scale. So when I want to play a third scale in a key, I just move my first finger to the third and I do it there. Let's say we have to do it in G, which I have to do for the improvisation on Dyna. I move my first finger to the third of G, which is a B, and it's the same fingering. But now you might ask, Christian, if you want to play a third scale and your hand is nowhere near that spot, what would you do? Well, then I would move to that spot on the high E string until I'm there, and then I would continue the third scale. Let's say I'm here, and I want to play a third scale, so then I would just do it like this. Right? And I would never do it lower on the neck. I would just first move up to the B. Like that. Let's look at the next phrase. This one goes up, so it's easy to combine with the scale down or the third scale down, and it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. So combined with, for example, the scale down, maybe something like this. So now I combined all three of these patterns. So let's play another solo on Dyna where I use everything so far. So the scale from the root and now from the third. So same thing as I was doing here, but now I do it in the key of G. So let's do it with the backing track. Sounds nice, right? Let's go to the last scale pattern I use from the fifth. Okay, so the first scale I'm showing you is the one I use the most. It's not really from the fifth. You will see later why I call this from the fifth, because in the other phrases I really start from the fifth of C, which is G. This one starts also from the fifth, but on the D string, which is not the same for me. I put this first because this scale pattern is very flexible. And I'm going to show you why. So we're back in the key of C. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fingering is again super easy. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4 again, but a fret higher. So I think they call it pivoting, right? You pivot to a fret higher. And now 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you might say, wow, that's not a major scale. No, it isn't. It is a major scale with some added chromaticism. Namely, I start on F sharp. And here is a sharp. But I do it like that because, I know, it just sounds very good. And it fits really nicely with the pattern I'm going to show you later. So I call this the Paul Schaefer scale. Paul Schaefer is a guitar player because he uses this a lot. You can play it really fast because the picking is easy. You can repeat in threes again. It's easy to vary it. Just sounds very good always. That doesn't matter what you do with it. Much better than if you would play a normal major scale. Now let's explore some of the other phrases so I can show you how this all connects. That's especially important in this position. So here is a lick that really starts in the 5th position of C, right? 5th position from the 5th of the chord, which is G, and it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. I play this all the time, and now you might notice that the ending note, the G, really connects to that scale pattern. Right? 3, 4. Very easy to play fast, it sounds very smooth, very nice, and again, this phrase is very easy to vary. It's basically a C major 7 arpeggio with some notes, added notes. And I end with my 4th finger on that C on the high E string, and I can easily shift to the 1st position. Now I connected all 3 positions. As you can see, it sounds very fluid. It's across the entire neck. It sounds and looks like I've mastered that C major scale everywhere, but basically it's just a couple of patterns. So let's transpose all of this in G, right? So this last pattern would be here in G, right? We're in the key of G. Now I was playing that G 1st position up high. Because I can do it, of course, here. But the same 12 frets higher. So now let's improvise a solo on Dinah with everything so far. I will try to be a little bit more creative with the rhythms and with maybe repeating some notes. And again, the bridge is E minor. I will just be improvising some other stuff. But the A parts will all be this material. And so on. Of course, in a real solo I wouldn't only be playing this, but I just want to show you that it is possible to play a convincing solo with this material. Now imagine that you have lots of other stuff to choose from, other phrases, maybe some altered stuff, maybe some bluesy stuff. I was doing some bluesy stuff also at one point. Then this material really comes to life. So if you want to explore the major scale in jazz improvisation, I think this is a very good place to start. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want access to the tab, check out my Patreon. If you liked the video, please like it and subscribe. And follow me on Twitch, and I'll be practicing later today there. So click on the link to Twitch and follow me there as well. Bye!